So this is our part 2 of the house hunting journey. We actually love our first house that we saw from the last video. So we decided to just order a full house inspection to see what is wrong with the house and see if we really want to spend more money on fixing the house. This video is going to be very boring to look at. We are going to look back and work on the repairs. So without further ado, let's just jump into it.
Just to let you know, this house is gonna need some work. We walked around and we checked everything. Everything we talk about, you're gonna have pictures and videos in the report for you.
Okay.
It'll go into descriptions as to why it's on that report. Some of those things that I'm gonna say that need some work to it is your foundation. I was measuring it is out of tolerance in a few areas.
Okay.
And there's a few other things on the exterior that I think I'm gonna say that the foundation's not performing. Roofing, it does need some improvements as well, because right here you have what's called a flat roof.
Yeah, flat roof.
It is currently holding water.
Okay.
So in the report it says that it's ponding. That really needs to be improved to help that water drain off.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
and once we get up to the second floor, you'll be able to see some of that.
Okay.
Okay. We'll go ahead and start outside and show you the things that we've seen outside.
Okay.
Have you ever had stucco siding before? Or do you know much about stucco siding?
Not really.
Okay, so this is, the siding of your home is called stucco siding. Stucco siding is a cement-based style of siding. You have some cracks in a few locations on that stucco. If you step back a little bit,
Yeah.
that the wall is leaning. Once we get into the garage, you'll actually see that that foundation has cracking there. Because of the damage that you see along the house like this, we're also recommending having a stucco inspection done. The sidewalk over time, it has what's called its heaving. So you have some cracks here, and one's lifting or lowering another. So and that's what heaving is whenever one raises up higher than the rest. Because these little squares right here are an indication they've more than likely done foundation repairs. Now another thing about stucco, being a cement base, cement is actually a porous substance. So whenever it rains, you can actually get some rainwater that goes through the siding, and that happens. Okay. On the bottom is meant to have what's called a weep screed. And a weep screed is just a metal piece on bottom that helps that water, if the water gets behind it, it's gonna flow out underneath it. Okay. Some of those areas you actually are missing that weep screed to allow that water to flow out. Landscaping, it's best recommended to keep your foundation of roughly 4 inches revealed and keep your siding here close to 6 inches away from your ground. Because with your mulch and stuff like that, it can actually retain moisture, and you don't wanna have that against your siding. As if you have anything like ants or termites, you can risk them getting into your siding without you being aware of it. You have some of those cracks here that we were talking about in your stucco. Then you can also see your siding here has deterioration. One of your plumbing lines here, it's best to have that sealed with some caulking. And then see, here's some more of the damage on your siding here. This is your main water line. Okay, so this is how you would turn off the water to the home. It's best to have some insulation put around it, and it would also be best to have that caulking put around here as well. As they recommend having what's called an anti-siphon put on your hose bib, and that's just a little piece you can go and get at a hardware store, screws onto this place just to make sure water doesn't backtrack into your drinking water. It has got deteriorated. Right here is what you call a wedge crack. Okay, a wedge crack isn't a concern to the full foundation, it's just to this corner piece here. It's best to have that resealed with some cement, because what can happen is if that wedge crack is open to the environment, rainwater can get in there and it could crack all the way around and this portion actually flake off. This one is, with it being nearly flat, you can see that you are getting some deterioration on that siding back here.
Oh, from the rain.
From that rainwater. This is your neighbor's garage. They have a gap in between this stucco here. It would be best to be sealed. You can also see you have another crack up there for your stucco as well. They're into this garage. You can see you actually are getting water intrusion. So whenever it was raining, you do have a video in that report that the water actually drips.
Okay.
Okay, and then you can also see you have this crack here. That is where this whole piece is starting to lean in. That black darkness on your wall, you are starting to get what's called biogrowth.
Biogrowth.
So it's best to figure out how to stop that water intrusion so that doesn't continue. Because you can see you are getting water intrusion all the way down this wall here. You also have some biogrowth here as well. On your cold water line, you're supposed to have a shut-off valve. Your washing machine, I do not see a location for it to drain to. Whenever you do have electric garage doors, your lock should be disabled. Okay. Whenever it rains, your water actually sits in your courtyard. It would be best to have somebody come in here and try to re-slope this concrete, or get into it and put a drain system underneath it to help that water to drain out. Some of that water is actually intruding into your home. That water is seeping into this wall and getting into your flooring. And then here, you can see that your support is starting to lean. It seems pretty solid, so I imagine it actually is supporting this roof. Right now, it seems to be in good condition, so it might be something you just want to monitor over time. If you start seeing it lean more, then you want to have somebody investigate into a dryer vent. It really should be replaced with one similar to that one there. Best to have all of this sealed, and this hose bib is loose, and you have some damage to that stucco over here. You remember how I was saying stucco should be about 6 inches away from your ground here?
Okay.
Whenever it comes to concrete, it should be around 2 to 3 inches away. Okay, so with this being that close on this side, you risk that water hitting that concrete and bouncing back up. One of those things about new codes is you see that vent on the roof there?
Okay.
That is your water heater vent, okay? That really, new code now says it should be at least 3 feet or 2 feet away from your roofing, and it's a little bit over a foot. And then over here, you can see just some more cracks in the stucco here. Some previous repairs they've done here. That discoloration is because where the roof is, that meets your chimney, it should have some flashing that's called kick-out flashing that actually truly just kicks away from the wall. Okay, and what that does is whenever that water's running down, it kicks it away from the wall so it doesn't run down your wall. Because that's what's happening here, is that rainwater is falling right down the side and it's coming down here, making it to have some negative drainage as well. So it would be best to try and improve your draining here, just because you don't want to have water sitting on your foundation, because that's actually what creates your uneven settlement. So whenever you have water against it, that's whenever that foundation will want to rise. You have water that sits back here as well, because all against your fencing, that's all debris from that water looking like it's moving it over there. Okay. You actually have a crack in the foundation. They're always best to be sealed with some cement. Above these windows here, you have that little metal flashing that comes out and curves down.
Okay.
That should actually be on all of your windows. You're missing it on these. Yeah, so your garage doors just aren't operating just right. That discoloration in your wall, more than likely that is the rain that's getting in there, because they've sealed the bottom. You see that black style? They've actually sealed that bottom, which is not allowing water to come out of that wall. So if you ever get any rainwater in that wall, it's going to stay there. Sliding doors here, some of them are just not fitting in the frame right. Okay. This one is one that works out pretty well, so it does still slide. But you can see that you do have some damages there. Okay. So it's just not right. See that?
It's not smooth.
Exactly. So it just kind of has a tough time sliding back over it. This one works just fine. About that foundation being out of tolerance ranges. This is going to be where I zeroed off from, and I measured all the way over there. We were at 0 inches here and 2.8 inch gain over here. For your bedroom in here, this was positive ½ inch. You lost 1.5 inches over here. So it's about 2 inch difference within 10 feet. So that's going to be out of tolerance as well. One thing about underneath this staircase here, there should be a cover, like sheetrock underneath those stairs. Okay. And that's to actually create a fire block. This seems to be the only full bathroom that seems to carry that hot water from the garage area. The rest of them seem to go from that one, because that one's run by gas, so we were still getting hot water without the electricity. Okay. In here you have what's called flex pipe. It's this accordion style piping. That is meant to be just a temporary fix. It should be replaced with PVC. As we keep that shower running, we go ahead and drain your sink and flush the toilet, making sure all of it's drained at the same time. All of that's doing well for you too. Your wet bar is all working out well here. The only thing is they did not carry the hot water here, so you just have cold water. Sink is loose, so it just needs to be tightened for you. This right here is meant to be the connection for your dishwasher. Okay. Okay. So it drains to here. If for some reason you do not add a dishwasher, this needs to be plugged. You do have just a little cutout there. It looks to be like a water connection to turn it off and on. So it just doesn't look pretty because it doesn't have a proper cover. Your garage door should automatically close on itself. Okay. And what that means is getting a spring hinge here to where whenever you have it open, it closes. This is again meant to be a fire block. It looks like they've done some foundation repairs. Because these square cutouts are the repairs that done. More than normally what this means is they cut this out to dig a hole underneath it to put a pier here. So it looks like they've had some repairs done to the front of this house, but not to the back. This is this door that just doesn't seem to want to open up just right. Yeah. Okay, because you can see that it's open up here and it's almost closed up there. So it's just that track system just isn't working out just right.
Okay.
Okay. And then right here is where you're getting that water intrusion through that wall. You see this little staining here?
Okay.
Okay, so it looks like that water is coming through here and seeping out, and you can also see you're getting water damage right here. Okay.
Okay.
So that intrusion is current. So trying to get, it looks like it's coming through this wall, so trying to figure out a way to make sure this wall is sealed on the outside will prevent this from continuing. This right here is your handrail. You can see that it's loose. Okay. On bottom of it, it has little fasteners here. They just put some screws in it. Those could be loose. Some of your balusters are loose.
Okay.
Okay. These are just to help prevent anybody from accidentally coming through. New code now says they should be no more than around 4 3/8 of an inch wide, just in case you have a little dog or a little toddler.
Okay.
You don't risk them coming through it. Okay. That being said, they're around 5 inches. We did do a termite inspection. We did not find anything current, though it does look like you've had some previous on this wall here. And you have some high soil. In that report, you're also going to see a preventative is recommended.
Okay.
Okay, so having somebody out here just to give you a nice preventative termite, just to make sure they're not going to be around. As we come upstairs, you can see that you are actually getting some water intrusion here as well. Okay, and that is current. Above us is a flat roof. Okay, so with a flat roof, you have a membrane. The only thing is with membranes, even though you are, say you're holding water in one location, sometimes if it actually ever does get a problem of having a leak, it may not leak right where that water's at.
Okay.
Because there's multiple membranes, it could actually get in between and start leaking somewhere else. Okay. That being said, if you come over here, above us, right around here, you are actually having that water sit on the roof. Because that's where you risk having that water intrusion, is if water sits up there. You're also getting some more water intrusion here as well. This just needs to be sealed caulking. You just have some other flex piping here as well. You can see water sitting up here and over there as well. You have a greater risk of possible intrusion. You can also see you have some damage on your siding up here. Your fireplace area, what above it is the cover for it is meant to have a slope to help promote that water to drain off of it. Exactly, it looks to be somewhat flat. And then right above us here, you do have a previous repair in your ceiling. There's no moisture inside of there, so. With that breaker box, it's going to be just your normal things you're going to see about the age of this home.
Okay.
You do have white wires that are going to a breaker. Okay, white wires are intended to be neutral, which means they're not meant to carry constant power to them. Have an electrician get in there, really put black electrical tape over it, it's to code. You're missing what's called AFCI breakers. AFCI breaker stands for arc fault circuit interrupters, which means just in case it ever senses any arcing, it's going to turn that power off. The thing is even though we have to put it on the report, we do not recommend you doing it to this old of a home, because what can happen is you'll have an electrician replace that breaker for an AFCI, and it's going to start tripping, and he's going to have to get into walls and do little repairs, and it's just not cost effective. And the other thing is all of the wires, the electrical wires, are entering into the home from one location. They now recommend separating them apart, just because whenever they're running, they can build up heat, and if they're all building up in heat in one location, it can create a hazard. That being said, homes being built like that for 100+ years, we do not recommend you doing that unless you ever decide, I want to upgrade this whole box.
Okay.
If you ever upgrade the whole box and you say, hey, let's see if we can separate some of those wires. Though that tape separation, because of the way it looks, it also could show that your home is settled.
Okay.
So this right here is probably just some of that stress that's happened. Really enjoy their flex pipe. Are you familiar with the term GFCI when it comes to electrical? It stands for ground fault circuit interrupter. So in case you ever accidentally splash any water up here while you're washing your hands or something, it's going to turn that power off before shocking yourself or damaging the things that you got plugged in. This is a reset for you. Okay, so whenever you have proper protection, you're going to splash some water onto it. This is going to be reset, and it's going to pop, turn off your power. You're going to hit that reset here to regain your power. Okay, the only thing is, this one is not working properly. So this one should be replaced with another reset style
Okay.
to give you that proper protection. And it should protect this one as well. And then this one right here is just that you have some paint on your plugs. They recommend not having them painted just because paint has a small chance of being a combustible. We've been in homes from the 1940s that have probably had paint since the 50s and never had a problem. It looked like they do not have this bottom portion to be properly caulked, sealed, because whenever you turn on the shower, it does drain water out here. So it's best to have somebody get in there and add you the proper caulking on the inside and the outside, so you don't ever risk having to have anything to clean up that out here. We get hot water out of this shower head, but we could not get it out of this shower head. So this one, we were thinking it's probably connected to that electric heater, because more than likely that could very well be the original plumbing, or at least the original location where the shower was at. And whenever they did the remodel, they decided to add this one here, and they just decided to run that plumbing right through the wall instead of trying to plumb it further. Right here is another location you are getting current water intrusion. This one is previous because there is no current moisture in it. Your electrical lighting in here, it's best to have cages put around them. So in case you ever accidentally knock something around, you just knock the cage and you don't damage that outlet. One thing about your electric water heater is it should have a quick disconnect to where you can disconnect the power, and there isn't one. Okay, so that should be added for you. But this is that water disconnect. You have it on this one.
Okay.
You're missing it on the one in the garage. So this is basically what you need to add on the other one.
Just on the
cold water side.
Okay.
Exactly. And then your conduit. This right here is what helps carry all that electricity to it. It's best to have that conduit fully cover that wire. This valve right here is called a TPR valve. Stands for temperature pressure relief. What that does is, just in case it ever builds up too much temperature, too much pressure, it's going to release it. This should be carried to the outside.
Okay.
Should be piped with PVC and just carried outside. Oh, you are missing some bug screens on these windows.
Bug screens. Okay.
So if you open them up, they're just open. So if you have issues with mosquitoes or anything, you'll want to get those. Absolutely. So that being said, the report will get to you later today.
Okay.
If you look over it and you have any other questions, by all means, you can contact me and I'll gladly answer them for you.
Okay, Michael.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a lot of repairs to do. There may be some minor things that we can fix it ourselves. Well, I have some electrical background, so maybe that can help. If you stay until the end, make sure to hit the like button because it is going to help me to start building my channel. Hit the subscribe button down there so you will get notified when I have my next video. Comment down below and tell me one thing that you think it is a must fix. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.